Sup, Reitanites? Reitanna Seishin here. I'm always tired. So, I don't know why I bother to say that I'm tired, but, yeah. So, before we start this LAR, I have good news! It seems that more than likely we're going to actually be moving to Boise, Idaho. We know of an area, roughly, of where we're gonna go, or Mike does. I was born in Idaho, so, hopefully there are places near Boise that I lived in, like Wallace, or Hayden Lake, or Coco-Lala, or Mullen. You know, I was born in Coeur d'Alene, but I was too young to remember living there. So hopefully, you know, get some good nostalgia. All in all, it seems that the cost of living is much lower. You won't believe this. Okay. Just sit down for a moment. Alright. So, in Boise, an apartment that allows pets that's like twice as big as the apartment I live in now, with, you know, water and laundry and all that. I'd say at max, Michael said $800 a month. I nearly had a heart attack. He said it also goes as low as $600 a month. I was just like, oh my god. Oh my god. For those of you who don't understand cost of living situations, etc., I don't blame you for going, no big deal. Mostly you youngins out there are gonna be all like, I don't get the point. I'm not sure how much our rent is for this shitty shithole of a shitness, but it's over $1,200 a month. I'm pretty sure it's almost to $1,500 a month, so, and it's bogus. Michael will also be, transferring to Walgreens until he can, study up on computing and stuff like that, so he can get a tech job, because retail is literally hell. But his pay as a shift lead when he transfers will not be too much lower. So, with the cost of living and, how much he gets paid and how much happier I will be, more than likely will also get me making more money. We'll be pretty set. And, our lease is up on May 20th, so we're going to be out of here at least by May 20th, if not a little earlier. So, yay! Say yay for me. Be happy that something's probably going to go right for me this time. Just please be happy for me. It's so... It's like, I got a button from Hot Topic. Ow, and I just stuck myself with it. That says, don't grow up! It's a trap! It really is a fucking trap. A saw trap that you can't get away from. Anyway, so let's get on to it. I'm also working on some Sims custom content, so if I have more brain farts than usual, it's because my concentration is shifting to the project. But I want to kick off this LAR, by reading a journal I wrote, that I was inspired to write after somebody on the Sims resource posted a sweater dress with vegan type sayings on them. There's 4 of them. One says, life is better when you're vegan. The next one says, I am vegan, and yes, I'm judging you. The next one says, be the generation that ends animal exploitation. And the 4th one says, you can't love animals and eat them too. In a non-docile, response. Wow, I cannot believe that took me so long to get that frickin' thing. I decided to make my own because that's ridiculous. Alright, so my first one on the front says, life is better when you don't discriminate, and on the back it says, end radical veganism. The second one says, I'm vegetarian, but no, I'm not judging you. I have to actually see the screenshots. The next one says, be the generation that ends vegan extremism, and on one of the arms it says respect. The next one says on the front, yes, you can love animals and still eat meat. On the back it says, don't let extremists bully you into thinking otherwise. Then the next one says, I made more than 4. Yes, I'm vegetarian, but you don't have to be. The next one says, hundreds of non-vegan people save animals' lives every day. The next one on the front says, there are lots of ways to save animals. And on the back it says, but harassment isn't one of them. As a vegetarian, I wanted to vent about, well, you know, the vegans and vegetarians that give us all a really bad name. So I wrote a journal. It says, I am a vegetarian and have been for 14 years. I love animals and I get along better with them than humans. However, these kinds of people piss me off. It's because of extremists like this that give the rest of us a bad name. Because of this, if I say I'm vegetarian to someone, they bristle like an angry cat, prepared to defend their right to eat meat. Well, I'm not one of those kinds of people, but it gives a bad impression when it shouldn't. The last one really gets me. You can't love animals and eat them too. Bullshit. My best friend and boyfriend adore animals and they eat meat. Mzotic on YouTube works and lives with tons of species with whom she loves very much, and she's not vegan. By the way, Mzotic. E-M-Z-O-T-I-C. Really beautiful woman with tons of exotic animals and stuff. Go check her out on YouTube. There are plenty of you reading this who love animals, but still eat meat, am I right? I invented a fake conversation to have with this type of person if they were logical and non-argumentative. Commenter, I feel like the message you're sending is not a fair one. Author, so the commenter is like the one commenting on the shirt, and author is the one who uploaded the shirt, say like that. Okay, author, why not? Commenter, because our diet is part of a life choice, and discriminating against people for not doing anything wrong isn't something we should do. Author, but it's wrong to eat animals. Commenter, that's debatable, but no matter what your opinion is on the matter, it's... Wow, that's redundant. It's not right to shame others for their choices. I'm a vegetarian and I love animals to the ends of the earth, but I have plenty of friends who love animals more than I do who eat meat. There are people out there working to save animals' lives, rescues, preservation of endangered species, people who connect better with animals, better... Wow, I didn't proofread this better than their own species and still eat meat. Author, but being vegan is healthier. Commenter, not in all cases. Remember that humans are animals too, and we are naturally omnivorous. Actually, our teeth and digestive systems aren't built to eat red meat, but are able to handle poultry and fish just fine. In fact, the healthiest diet you could be on is just cutting red meat out entirely. We need certain things for proper nutrition. That's not to say that vegetarians and vegans can't be healthy with their diets, but I'm sure you know by experience that we have to go to extra lengths to get that missing nutrition, and it's very expensive. Then you have to think about other animals. Lions are carnivorous, which means they eat other animals. Does that make them cruel? Not enough humans understand that we are still animals, and we still have to survive. Do I agree with how livestock animals are treated in most cases? Absolutely not, and I wish I could change it. Still, you're not going to convince a majority of humans to quit eating meat, and when you push your veganism in their face, it actually makes them want to defy you even more. In any case of it, conversion is wrong, and harmful opinions should be kept to yourself. As a side note, it has been proven that, when you convince a majority, when you push it actually makes them want to defy you more. Things like that, when you get all up in their face and it makes them, it has the opposite effect. That itself is actually a fight or flight response. It sends signals to the brain, the same kind of signals as pain and danger. Yeah. Author, you make very good points, and I didn't think of before. You're right, but what do you think I should do to fix this? Commenter, it's alright to express vegan pride, and possible to do so without insulting others. Naturally, you'll still get backlash, but if you're not harming anyone, that's their fault, not yours. Author, alright, I will find some messages that still express my opinion, but not impose on other people's. Of course, extreme vegans don't usually respond in such a way. Let me share with you this hilarious video I found. I'll try to remember to leave a link in the description, but it's called If Meat Eaters Acted Like Vegans, I think. Okay, so that pretty much sums up how extreme vegans act, and they really do act that way. Not only that, but they're under the assumption... Oh, I meant extreme vegans. I don't know if I skipped over extreme. But they're under the assumption that they do not eat animals. Oh, yes, they do. We all do. There is no such thing as being 100% vegan if you get your food from a store. FDA regulations in all countries have their own percentages of the amount of other things that are allowed to still be in our food before we consume it. Other things include mice, rats, their feces, bugs, and human skin. And, in America, the FDA is very lax. So have I unknowingly eaten part of a mouse? The probability is very high. Would I knowingly eat a mouse? Never. I don't think I could bring myself to do it even if I was starving. I could eat fish if it were a last resort, but mammals especially are just too much. Still, I'm sure I've eaten a fair number of unknown animals that got into my food while it was being processed. Bread is a big one. Not only that, but there are plenty of foods that people just don't know have animal products in it. Natural flavors, quote-unquote, usually means it comes from an animal. Are you vegan and like to eat dairy-free vanilla ice cream? Well, don't get too ahead of yourself because you're eating secretions from a beaver's anal gland. Best part is, I don't know if they have to kill the beaver to get it. In my vegetarian foods, like my Morningstar stuff, I'm certain there's something in there that the FDA said was okay, like the aforementioned mousies. And how many things have gelatin? Where do you think gelatin comes from? So it's actually vanilla extract that is made from the secretions from a beaver's anal gland. Pure vanilla beans are expensive. Of course, they don't use vanilla beans in the ice cream that we buy at stores. So anything with vanilla extract in it, pretty much anything with vanilla, it's beaver ass. And even if you straight up eat grass, you're consuming tiny organisms invisible to the naked eye. But regardless of these facts, the truth is, it's just not okay to tell people what they are eating is wrong unless it actually is wrong, like eating a baby or something. Or bad for your health, like eating Tide Pods. Tide Pods. Laundry detergent. Poison. Idiots. You can give the recommendation to someone that they should reduce their consumption of red meat, but that's because red meat does in fact cause many health issues. And then I leave a link to Mzodic's response to veganism. Every point she makes is logical, educated, and fair. Seriously though, watch her videos and you will see that her love for animals is off the charts. And I understand that humans are no longer part of the food chain, but that does not make us omnivores any different than any other omnivorous animal. The only difference is that we torture our meat before we kill it. Is it wrong? Absolutely. And can we protest against it? And we can protest against it as much as we want. But at least in America, money speaks louder, and we're not going to change a damn thing. I'm a vegetarian. I can tell you the facts. I can tell you the pros and cons, but I have no right, nor would I ever tell you what you should be, that you should be vegetarian. If a doctor says you should lean more toward the diet, that's different. There are plenty of vegans out there who are just like me, meaning they know conversion is wrong, and people make their own choices about what they eat. So don't go thinking all vegans suck. Daniel Bryan was a vegan. I don't know if he is anymore, but Daniel Bryan is not known to be an asshole backstage. For you vegetarians and vegans who act all high and mighty, like you know everything, and you refuse to acknowledge hard facts, if you tell people they can't love animals and eat them too, wrong too. If you harass them for not sharing your beliefs, you are the problem. You need to leave people alone. Keep your nastiness to yourself. Judge people silently, but most of all, get over yourself. Human beings were not meant to be herbivores, and we never will be. You're not going to change the world, especially when you're so toxic. You give the rest of us a bad name. Stop buying into PETA when you don't even know what PETA really does to animals. Just be fair and be nice. Then again, the reason they act like this is because they're moronic sheep, so nothing I say will change anyone's mind. I need to go back and read the description of my sweater dress. So, I said, I can't tell you how many times I've met someone and the conversation leads to me saying I'm a vegetarian, and they cringe, going into defense mode. Unfortunately, good vegans and vegetarians have a bad reputation because of the extremists, and everyone expects us to start harassing them about their diet. Organizations like PETA make the problem worse. When I tell you I'm a vegetarian, you shouldn't be ready to fight hostility and defend your right to eat meat. It should just be a simple response, like if I were to tell you my favorite color is pink. These sweaters are here to express to people that not all of us are bad, and please don't stereotype us because of the radicals. We can tell you the facts, we could tell you why we choose to eat this way, but we never have the right to try and convert you. My best friend and boyfriend eat meat, and they both adore animals as much as I do. But if you are interested in trying a vegetarian/vegan diet, make sure you do know your facts, because if you don't, you'll be on the road to poor nutrition. Also keep in mind that these diets are incredibly expensive, and many restaurants don't cater to us because we're the minority. If you have been thinking about going on a meat-free diet, I wouldn't mind if you PM'd me to ask me how I did it, and how I keep it up, but a meat-free diet is not for everyone. Keep that in mind, especially for people who have allergies to soy, to, who are, etc. Health stuff that they can't avoid. Otherwise, respect each other, don't discriminate, and accept one another. The world is a very scary place, but you can survive better with friends, not foes. I have a lot of people who... Well, when I say a lot, I say three comments that have went on a huge tangent chewing me out, and I just deleted them. I didn't even read all of it, but there was a really short one that says, it's sad that you get so ruffled by people who are passionate about saving animals. That's not, no, that saying you can't love animals and eat them too is not expressing passion for saving animals. And that's the thing, is you know it. You know this. And it's really funny. The funniest part is that these extreme vegans, all they do is complain, but they don't do anything about it. And that's a big problem. If you search, like, veganism or something, on YouTube, you're gonna find a lot of people who are just going off. I am really distracted at the moment. Who are just going off on a tangent about how horrible everybody is if they eat meat. How they're murderers and etc., etc., etc. Well, no. Because okay, we have advanced, as a species, so, you know, that's just the way it happened. And we need food, and we're lazy, so the best way to do it is to do what we do with, the same thing we do with produce, honestly, is grow it and raise it in stock. The problem is that, like I said, money speaks. Is industries need to meet the demand, need to meet the quantity to make more money. The quality does not matter. People who, you know, own farms and such, are more respectful toward, their livestock. They keep them nice and healthy, and they make sure, you know, they don't have diseases or sicknesses. They just make sure they're happy and they have enough room to roam around and graze, and, you know, if they're grazing animals. And it's been proven that that actually increases the quality of the taste and the meat in general. I mean, being a vegetarian, that doesn't really matter to me, but all the same, is that's not the problem. And that has never been the problem. The problem is, and these are the things that vegans should be fighting against, is the mills and, you know, all of the let's speak in young, I don't know what I'm talking about language. All of the bad things. I know what I'm talking about, I'm just distracted. So, you know, they never do anything about it except complain. Yes, I complain about a lot of things. Do I do anything about it? No, but at least I don't act like I'm changing the world. And I wonder if I shouldn't have done that. And it's like, alright, think about this logically. Let's say, let's use lions again. Let's say that primates didn't evolve into the quote-unquote dominant species. Let's say felines grew into the dominant species. Let's say lions were the top, because reasons. Because king of the jungle, even though they don't live anywhere near the jungle. So, lions are carnivorous. No produce. I don't think any feline prefers, is omnivorous in any way. I could be wrong, correct me if I am. Would a lion possibly eat a primate? Yes. Would a lion, eat, well, cows and pigs and chickens and stuff like that? Most likely. So, being the dominant species, the felines will be doing the exact same thing that we're doing. You know, it's nature. But if you take all of us, and there is no dominant species, does that still make us cruel? Is hunting and, you know, stuff like that. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble speaking today. It's just bigotry. It's bigotry, it's harmful, and it's not doing any good. And to actively say, yes, I'm vegan, and yes, I'm judging you, okay, so that's just hate speech. If you think about it, it's the same as hate speech involving racism and sexism and sexual preference, etc. and stuff. Etc. and stuff! It's hate speech, and it's wrong. It's not something that should exist. And I feel like the reason why these people act like this is because they want to feel different. They want to feel important. They don't bother with the facts. They just go with hearsay, treat them as facts, and just have another excuse to hate everybody. That's all these people are, what all these people are trying to do. And let's face it, if we didn't have racism, if we didn't have religion, if we didn't have homophobia, and if we didn't have sexism, there will still be something to hate. There will still be differences between us that will cause wars, that will cause generic fights, and will cause a lot of mental and emotional damage to our fellow man. We're just so evil. We're just so destructive. And it's like, I'm just thinking because, Mike, he told me about when he was younger, they had a pet pig. He eats, pork every once in a blue moon. He's actually not a big, red meat eater, but he will, if he goes to restaurants or something like that. But it's like, do you think that just because the pig is, raised as livestock, do you think he's going to, eat his pet pig? And it's not, it sounds more like you love pets, not animals. So, okay, let's pretend, let's go back 14 years, and I'm a meat eater. Does that mean, if I just like pets and I don't love animals, does that mean that I don't love tigers? That I don't love weasels? Or that I don't love snakes? Or that I don't love bunnies? Some people eat rabbit, but I don't. That I don't love the cute little octopuses in the ocean and the squids? Really? I don't love animals, apparently. Apparently, all those species that we generally don't eat aren't animals. Just like humans, right? Just like humans are not animals. Logic. It just doesn't make sense to me. And a personal experience of mine is when I was hanging out with some friends who I'm no longer in contact with because of one leaving me in LA, which is a 4-hour drive, and kickstarting my agoraphobia. Yay! I want to kill him. So this is a true experience. Getting in the car and trying to decide where we want to eat. And I said, well, I'm a vegetarian, so as long as it's somewhere that serves something I can eat. And they go, ew! And they literally, I'm not even kidding, unprovoked, start insulting me. And I'm like, dude, I'm not one of those. Okay, calm down. I'm not going to hate on you for eating meat. I don't care. Do I feel sorry for, the little cages that the poor chickens are in? And do I feel sorry for... I don't feel sorry for the cages. I feel sorry for the chickens. Yes, I do. I feel sorry for the cows that are, forced to, take in hormones and overgrow and have health problems and be in small enclosures and technically raped. So, yes, I feel sorry for them. Absolutely. I feel sorry for the pigs. I feel sorry for anything that is basically tortured. And yes, we should be the generation that ends that. We're not going to be, but we should be. The thing is you cannot convince a majority of human beings to do the right thing. That's just not how we work. As individuals, we can choose to do the right thing. But you're not going to, you know, convince a bunch of corporate bastards that other species' lives matter just as much as humans, because, again, humans aren't animals to other people. Other species of animal are lowly and insignificant. They are absolutely not. And for those of you who love animals, you agree with me. And for those of you who love animals and still eat meat, fine. You know, eat it. Just don't be the ones torturing them, you know? If you torture them, that makes you a bad person. If you just simply eat it, that doesn't make you a bad person. And, you know, you could try to make sure that your meat comes from a farm that treats its animals, you know, correctly, but it's expensive, and it's, well, it's just a very small percentage of people doing that. So, you know, we have to eat, so if you choose to eat meat, you've got to get it somewhere. The store, which is most likely killing, you know, torturing their animals before killing them. So, you know, it's just like me and the mouse thing. Am I going to stop eating bread because they allow small parts of mouse and rat in the dough? No, I'm not. Am I going to stop eating imitation meat just because there might be some bugs in it? Well, it's gross to think about, but no, I'm not going to. Because where else am I going to get it? How could I personally make sure that my food has absolutely no animals in it? It's impossible. And it's just funny, vegans, that they don't count plants as living things either. And that's, you know, sort of what the video of how if meat eaters acted like vegans, that sort of, you know, jokes about that. But it's not, you know, really that much of a joke, because some people connect better with plants than they do animals, you know? I spoke to someone, I believe on DA or YouTube, who loved their, you know, plants and talked to them as if they were sentient. And maybe they are. Who knows, you know? We don't know how plants work with that kind of thing. But they can feel pain, and they can bleed. Tree sap is basically their blood. The white stuff that comes out of some stems of things, that's their blood. You know, they have reproductive organs, they have a life cycle, and they have more of a right to be here than human beings, just like all the other animals. And most of all, we don't give back to them. We bury our dead in coffins instead of burying our dead straight into the ground. That's not fair to Mother Nature. That's not fair to our planet, because our planet gives us all of these resources that we are wasting, and resources that are depleting because we, you know, overhunt, you know, over harvest, all of that stuff and things and stuff. And we don't give back. We don't give Mother Nature, we don't give Earth back her nutrients, because the Earth, the plants, the soil feeds off of decaying animal matter. And it's like, if that doesn't convince you to stop burying your dead in coffins, maybe the price of a funeral will. Me, I want to be turned into a tree. And what I mean by that is that apparently there's this company that will, I think correct me if I'm wrong, I think they cremate you and use your fertilizer, or use your ashes in fertilizer, and they plant a tree, and they plant it, like, in your ashes. I don't know what I am saying. But either way, you know, I don't want somebody to put me in a box when I die. That's not fair. And yeah, certain things could crack the coffin, like, I don't know, but we're not giving back. And there are millions, billions of buried boxes in the ground containing skeletons of what used to be completely good food for the soil and for, you know, for the plants and everything. And we are just so vain that we only think about us, and we never, ever think about the benefits that we could have after death to the things that are supposed to be here. It's it's funny. I just want to go back in time to the quote-unquote caveman that discovered fire or something, and just put it out and say no! No! And just be there whenever they discover something and be like, no! Stop civilization until I slowly fade away from existence, and then I will know that I succeeded. Because we're horrible. We're horrible creatures. We're monsters. But, you know, another thing about vegan extremists is they refuse to actually look up facts about veganism. Especially PETA. They follow what PETA says on their website. Whatever PETA says, it's God's word, apparently. PETA will kidnap, and this has happened, kidnap your pets, like your dogs or your cats, and kill them because they didn't deserve to be your slaves or whatever. Not understanding that most of us, I hope, consider our pets as part of the family. My rats, the only reason why I keep them in a cage, and it's a big cage, the only reason why they're in a cage is for their safety. Because they are tiny, they like to chew, we have lots of wires, there might be holes in the house. If they chewed on a wire, they could get electrocuted. If they bumped something and knocked it down, they could get squished. If we're not careful and they're allowed to run around the house and we're not careful, and it makes me sick to think about it, we might step on it. And if I ever hurt a rat by my fault, even if it was an accident, any animal, I would just feel so bad, especially if I caused its death. I don't want to think about my cute little rats being, So what was I saying? Oh yeah. And then the holes that are possibly in the walls. Rodents have quote-unquote collapsible skeletons, meaning they can fit into holes that look way too small for them to fit in. If my domestic rats got outside, they would most likely be lost forever unless I caught them right when they got through the wall. And that's if they get through the wall to the outside. They could get through the wall, and be in the wall and die of starvation. If they get outside, they're not going to last a night. They will either be, caught and eaten by a hawk, by one of the, cats running around, by a dog. They could end up, in some little kid's hands and squished to death, because little kids are vermin. Or they will die, they will freeze to death during the night. I need to go get my rats. Hang on. Well, they were both comfy and snuggly and sleepy in the hammock, so I didn't take them out, but I pet them a little bit. So, unless it's a ridiculously small cage, having, caging your animals that could get in danger by everyday things isn't enslaving them or imprisoning them. Domestic animals cannot live in the wild. They've been domesticated to coexist with us humans. And therefore, they are used to certain luxuries that a wild animal will not be used to. A wild rat isn't used to a nice warm home where some giant meat sack gives them food, gives them blankets and plays with them and kisses them and loves them and talks to them. And so, a domestic rat goes out, hangs out with a bunch of wild rats. That's not going to fly because they're not going to survive, and most likely the alpha rat is going to kill them because they are males. And zoos are partially in the category of these cages aren't just to protect you from getting mauled, they're also there to protect the animals. Now, there are a lot of zoos where their enclosures are, again, ridiculously small, and, they don't have things that, from their natural habitat that, keep them happy. And, yeah, those types of zoos need to be shut down, and those animals need to be transferred to a zoo that, is better. Like, we have the Wild Animal Park, and it's extreme how vast the land is for certain species to run around in. It's crazy. And the little cages that we sort of see with the glass, so we could see the animals, usually there's some kind of cave in there that leads them, where they can go, that leads them to a more spacious environment. But here's the thing. Let's say cheetahs. Cheetahs used to exist in the hundreds of thousands. Now there's only a little more than 700 left. They are on the endangered species list. And if they were in the wild, if they weren't, quote unquote, stuck in a cage, the cheetah would go extinct. Either because they died faster than they could reproduce, they got killed by, some other animal, or the main thing, they get killed by some other animal, and that animal is us. So, keeping them imprisoned is keeping them alive and trying to save their species, trying to undo all of the damage that we have done. It's probably not working, and it's probably never going to work. But as long as, those quote-unquote prisons are catering to the animal's happiness, then there shouldn't be a problem. Yes, they're a little spoiled because they get human contact and they have other people feeding them, etc. But animals usually know when you're trying to help them. So, that's why, my little albino rat, Ezio, when he was alive, he had an abscess on his neck. And so I had to excise it, and it hurt him so bad, and I hated it. I had to have him lying on my lap, on his back, and I had to apply a warm compress to his neck, which I'm sure probably felt really good to him because it was hot. It was, warm enough for his skin to tolerate, so that, it would open more, and I had to excise it, which means I had to squeeze it to get some of the stuff out. And he squeaked, and he whimpered, and I was just so heartbroken, but not once did he bite me. Not once did he act aggressive to say, stop hurting me. He actually was really good about it. He would lie on his back for a good few minutes before he decided to jump back up and take refuge on my shoulder. He was really, really good. He knew that something was on his neck that shouldn't be there. And it probably hurt, just in general. And he knew that Mama was trying to help him, and Mama always gave him a nice treat after a session of excising. And luckily, with the antibiotics and the sessions of excising, which I think I did twice a week or once a week, I don't remember, it did get better, and he didn't have a scar or anything, and it never came back. So he healed real nice. Oh, it's you. I miss my albino baby. I miss all my babies. I miss all my babies that pass away. That's the really unfortunate thing, is we build relationships with species that don't live quite as long as we do. And that's no fault of our own. In fact, domestic species will often outlive their wild counterparts. So my rats are gonna live a lot longer than most of the wild rats outside. That's the bad thing about forming these relationships, is that we have to deal with their passing on a lot more frequently. And to those of us who are not idiots, who are not all high and mighty human beings in dominance of the entire planet, we're the dominant species, but we try to, make the planet our bitch. For those of us who are not idiots, treat our pets and consider our pets not just something we own, but something we adopted. They are another individual. They are not human, but technically they are a person. So when somebody says animals are people, they don't mean animals are humans. They mean animals have individuality. They have thoughts. They have emotions. They have, they can feel physical pain. They dream. It's really interesting to watch my rats dream, and they love. And if they say, that your pet doesn't love you, they're wrong. It's possible that their love is in a different way. We don't know, because we're not their species. And just because they can't speak any human language doesn't mean they can't communicate. And they try their best to communicate with us, and we try our best to communicate with them. We can't really give them signals because we don't know how to speak their language, but we can at least show them through our care, our affection, and through our habits that we care about them and that they're safe. They know these kinds of things. Whether their memory is really, really short or really, really long, they know these things and they understand. I saw a video of a crow. And the humans kind of freaked out at this. They had a bottle of water, and the crow was thirsty. It was probably really dry and hot. It looked really sunny. The crow just landed right among this crowd of people and started kind of gnawing at the cap on the water bottle. And he'd look at the human, like, pointedly, and then he'd start gnawing on the cap again, and he'd look back up at him, and he'd kind of peck at the cap, and he kept looking at him. And the guy and his kids or whatever, they all kept freaking out and trying to get away from the crow. And me, I'm sitting here like, that crow is obviously asking for a favor, you dumbasses. For me, if that happened to me, and a crow landed next to me, I wouldn't move. I would just watch it, because, is it going to attack me? I'm literally taking the risk of it possibly attacking me. But if it, acted like the crow in the video and it started pecking at my water, I'm going to do what the humans eventually did in the video. I'm going to open up the bottle and I'm going to pour some water in the cap and set the cap down for the crow to drink. And that's all the crow wanted. After he got some water, he took off. Just went. And crows, and birds in general, are actually, well, except owls. Did you know owls aren't really that smart? But birds, especially crows and ravens, are really, really, really smart. So, that crow seemed to have no problem trying to ask a human for a favor in his own way. Or her own way. I don't know. And we, being the dumb shits we are, don't understand that. Don't understand when another animal is trying to ask us for help. Some of us are a little bit quicker on that. Mike and me and Senpai and a lot of you probably pick up on other species' cues better than a majority of the human population. They have their own ways of knowing that they're in trouble. They have their own ways of telling us that they are in pain. And I just wish we were like capybaras. Because capybaras apparently can get along with any species, including something that's big enough to eat them, aka a crocodile. Or an alligator. I don't remember which one is which. I've seen pictures of them sitting next to various animals, including a crocodile or alligator. And, they were just chilling. The reptile was sunbathing. They were sitting next to the water. The capybara had its eyes closed, and it was resting. And it was cute. And if we were more like capybaras, we'd be more calm. We'd be more peaceful. We'd be more willing to accept friendships from other species. I saw a video of a capybara meeting a guinea pig for the first time, and guinea pigs are very closely related to capybaras. And it was so cute. And at first they kind of ignored each other, but then the capybara just took to the guinea pig, started snuggling, started trying to get it to play, started grooming it. It just so precious. And then you look at these instances where humans have formed relationships with other species, such as the guy who, I think he's a animal rescue or something, who has a great friendship with a polar bear, and he swims with a polar bear. There's that one story of, the guy who had a baby lion as a pet, a male lion, and later released it into the wild, or was it released in the wild? I think it was released into captivity because it was too used to hospitality. But later, when the lion grew to be an adult, he came back to see it, and he took his chance to approach his lion, who he had a friendship with in the past. And he probably had to sign a waiver or something. And the lion jumped up. It looked like he was going to attack him, but he didn't extend his claws. He put his paws on the guy's shoulder, and he started, well, when a cat is like rubbing your legs and, it's a way of marking their territory and showing affection. The lion was just a big kitty cat. And he remembered the man, and he remembered the friendship, and he was so happy to see him. There was that ape who formed a friendship with Robin Williams, who expressed sadness when he passed away. There are also friendships between other species that aren't us. such as a dog raising a baby deer, a cat raising a rabbit. Did you know baby rabbits are actually called kittens? So, there are instances of cats and dogs. It's mostly cats and dogs raising ducklings, looking out for ducklings, raising squirrels. I think, there are friendships formed between, wild animals and domestic animals, like wolves and young dogs. What was that one? Like cheetahs and a puppy. There was one like that. The hamster and the snake is a real old, example. You know, I don't like the idea of feeding a hamster to a snake because hamsters are cute and fluffy, but it doesn't change the fact that the snake will eat a hamster because it's a rodent. It's a source of food. But the snake did not eat the hamster. And the hamster lived with the snake for God knows how long, and the snake would eat mice, never ate the hamster. And it would curl up and sleep, and the hamster would, you know, when a snake curls up, there's like that middle, vortex-looking shape. The hamster would just crawl up right there. And it was cute. And it does prove to us dumbasses that they do love, they do have emotion, and they do care. They mourn for their dead. A lot of social species will mourn for their, like their cage mate if they're domestic. Rats, you must have 2 rats. If their cage mate, passes away before them, there's a good chance that they will pass away from grief. I knew a pair of ferrets, and the older one, passed away, and the younger one would not eat, would not drink, would not do anything. And note that the older ferret that passed away due to old age, not any, complications with health. The younger ferret didn't have any complications with health. He passed away because he starved and dehydrated himself because he wouldn't play, he wouldn't do anything because he was depressed that his friend was gone. It happens in the wild where, elephants will mourn their dead, other primates will mourn their dead. It's normal. But we're not. We look at these things that other species do that are similar to us, and we go, wow, that's so amazing! But they were doing it first. Our emotions come from them. Our habits come from them. How we became so violent and hateful is beyond me. We developed something that a lot of species don't have, and I know there are some species that do have it, but it's, you know, not quite as common as in humans. We have cruelty. We are cruel, and I sincerely believe that we are evil, so to say. And we're the end. We're the end of the line, and I really hope that we die out before we have the chance to go ruin another planet. But, and I'm sure a lot of, the morons, if they're listening to this, are all like, she doesn't even know what she's talking about, because that's how I imagine morons speak. But it's just like, these kinds of things aren't opinions. Well, my hope for, human extinction is. But the facts about animals having emotions and loving and mourning, animals who are in same-sex relationships, those aren't my opinions, those are facts. And, it's just like, where did we go wrong? Was it when we discovered fire? Was it even us who discovered fire? Or did a lightning bolt hit a branch and we're like, ooh, shiny? We discovered that it's hot. And then we discovered that if we throw meat into it, the meat tastes better. And then so on. Yeah. Some people may ask me, being a vegetarian, do you miss eating meat? And I will admit, yes, sometimes I do miss eating meat. But again, I wouldn't choose to eat meat unless my health depended on it. I do enjoy the smell of certain things that I used to eat, like bacon and sausage and hamburgers and tacos and stuff like that. It smells good, and if I were to deny that factor, if I were to say, I'm vegetarian, so I don't like the smell of that, that's the kind of anal retentive behavior of extremists that make us look really, really bad. Did I use anal retentive right? Hang on. Bada boom, yes I did! Yes! I feel really weird if I say a word that's considered strong vocabulary, and if I were to use it wrong, I'd feel really, really bad. So usually when I'm writing a sentence, and when I'm writing a story, and in the sentence I want to use a certain word, I will be like, okay, so that sounds perfect, but what does it actually mean? I can't remember the one that I had an issue with. I wish I could. But there's one I had an issue with that I was, mixing up two words that sounded the same and making up a whole new word. And I was like, oh, that's what that is. So, and, you know, if something smells good, you cannot deny that you like the smell. Like, say, you're really allergic to pollen, so you can't go up and smell a flower. But if you go into a florist shop, you smell the flowers and you like the flowers, or artificial flower scent. I'm really allergic to pollen. Last time I sniffed a flower, I got a bloody nose. I'm really susceptible to bloody noses. Even the most gentle of hits will cause one. Dry weather will cause one. Stress can cause them. I don't remember the last time I had one, but I'm not sure. It's never been broken. I'm not sure what caused it, but my last memory of a nose injury was on the playground of one of the elementary schools I went to, and getting hit with one of those climbing ropes that have a bunch of knots in them. Well, ropes are hard, and the knots were hard, and somebody accidentally hit me in the nose with it. I don't know if that's when it started, but very susceptible to nosebleeds. So, like, let's see. I don't know if it was the brand of hot dog. It was some shitty kind of hot dog that just smelled so gross. And it was when I was living with my ex-friend, Ariel, and it's so funny. She was so overdramatic. I said, that the hot dog smells gross, and she said, oh, thanks for insulting my house. And I'm like, the fuck? But, you know, she's an ex-friend for a reason. But then Mike makes hot dogs, and I'm pretty sure he still eats the turkey ones, but whether he does or not, they don't seem to smell bad to me. So, was it the fact that that Ariel's hot dogs were red meat? Or was it the brand? You know, it's just some things will not smell nice. Oh, the biggest one is bacon, man. Bacon's like the best thing in the world, and I hate that our vegetarian bacon sucks. Well, at least Morningstar's does. I miss bacon. But, you know, the piggies. I've had a couple of people in my life who are like, I'm gonna be vegetarian just like you. And I'm like, well, hang on. Don't be a vegetarian just because somebody you like is a vegetarian. That's sheep shit. I mean, come on. You just Follow the leader. Don't do that. If you are sincerely interested in being a vegetarian, then do it right. Do it properly. To quote the first season of, or the first episode of the second season of Osomatsu-san. Do it properly and work hard. You know, and have a personal reason for it. Don't just do it because somebody else is doing it. That's bad. You have individuality. To quote a Tool song, think for yourself, question authority. Authority doesn't just mean the law. Authority means figures you look at to be higher than you, whether they are or not. Like, some people will think that, some people will idolize me as if I'm a celebrity, even though I'm only recognizable on the internet, and I'm just a normal person like everybody else, and somehow they look at me like I'm the most perfect person in the world, and I'm not? I'm really not. Technically, you view me as the authority, but you need to think for yourself. If what I say makes sense and you agree, that's different. That you are thinking for yourself, but you're sharing opinions. If you had one opinion that was based on hard facts, and I say something that goes against that, and even though you know it's wrong, don't just change to my opinion because you like me. That's not how it works. You really do, need to think for yourself. In a lot of ways, we're all technically sheep, but there are a lot of cases where the sheepism is so extreme that you're just like, what are you doing with your life? Do you even have a person in that meat sack of yours? Are you just a host being controlled by some parasite that wants you to believe everything that everybody else believes or do everything that everybody else does? I assure you that a majority of extreme vegans are just following the leader. And the leader is PETA. And we all remember what PETA did with Mario's Tanuki suit. We all remember that. And we all remember how, they didn't even mention the abuse of jumping on turtles in Mario games. They were Koopas, right? Yes. It's been a long time. And they were harassing a majority of people one Thanksgiving, and their commercials are often very hateful. They don't actually treat their animals as well as they say they do. They don't do much to help animals. They're basically a cult. A very hypocritical cult. But not as bad as Scientology. So, it's insulting. And if you are an extreme vegan and you manage to listen this far, just keep it to yourself, man. You don't need to insult everybody else, and you're not going to change anyone's opinion. You might change some sheep to convert to you, but it's like, let's say you're Christian, and somebody wants to, well, Buddhists don't try and convert. Okay, let's say you're a Buddhist, and somebody tries to convert you to Christianity. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna convert to Christianity just because somebody says that Buddhism is just what did she tell me? She said what's the word? Not a hallucination, not a fabrication. A distraction from the devil, to lure you into temptation. That's what she said to me. CPS worker. Idiot. But, you know, you're not going to take that very nicely. And so, you know, just think about, well, since you already think about yourself, think about yourself. Think about, what if this person eating a steak got all up in your grill, up in your face, and started harassing you about killing the plants, and started seriously, emotionally damaging you for not eating meat? Do you like that? Would you like that? Do you need somebody to do that to you? Because sometimes you just need a taste of your own medicine. But, you know, you're not getting it. And you like to make people angry. Even though you say all these harmful things to people, what are you actually doing? Are you working to make sure that animals aren't tortured before they are, you know, prepped for human consumption? No. Are you trying to stop, like, slaughterhouses and stuff and shut them down? Are you trying to do that? Are you doing more than verbally protesting? Or do you even protest? Are you actually acting upon something? Are you actually involved with a charity? Are you actually involved in the action, you know, so to speak? If you're just complaining, you're just causing harm to anybody who is unfortunate enough to listen to your toxicity. And you just need to think about the old saying, treat others the way you would like to be treated. And that's why a lot of people have the misconception of me being rude to all of my fans, quote unquote. I treat people the way they want to be treated, because if they treat me bad, that means they must want to be treated bad. And, you know, a lot of people have mistaken that for hating my fans or bullying my fans. I actually have another DeviantArt journal that addresses that. Let me go look for it. Mwah, 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 mwah. Okay. So, it was when somebody told me that I love how the HTML works, but it still puts the HTML in the... whatever. Somebody discovered someone who posted all of my muffin stories on WordPress. Okay, so I called it, I just want to be all like, hey, fuckers? I said, why? 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 Why can't we put quotation marks in titles? No, but really, why do people think it's okay to post my stories elsewhere without permission just because they credit me? To all fans of muffins, I hope you're reading this, and I wish I knew how to make the text bigger. Do not post any of my stuff on any website ever unless you ask me directly for permission. It does not matter if you credit me. You have no right to do it. If I tell you no, then that means do not post it. No Wattpad, it wasn't WordPress, it was Wattpad, sorry. No fanfiction.net, no nothing. If you do, you will be found, even if it's not right away. I will find you. My fans will find you. My friends will find you, and they will notify me. I will file a DMCA takedown notice through the site, and they will take down the story by force. This will also endanger your account on that site, and your account could be deleted, or worst, you'll get IP banned. That depends on how many times you've been reported on that site. I mean, if you get one thing taken down by just one report, obviously your account's going to be in warning status. But if you have multiple offenses, then yes, your account could be deleted or IP banned. If you want popularity, put in the work and write your own damn stories. So, I think I should read all of this because it's important. Look, Muffins got popular by accident, just like Playing with Fire. I did not write it with the intention of gaining watchers or subscribers on YouTube. People just really liked it, and I liked writing them. I didn't proofread this one either. I don't usually proofread my journals, so... I put in a lot of hard work when I write my stories, and even harder work when I narrate them for video format. If you want to get popular on the internet, you're not going to succeed by wanting to get popular. You need to have a passion, you need to work hard, you need to do something you love doing, regardless if it results in popularity or not. You should not care about how many people like your stuff, you should only care about what you enjoy doing. The people who are like... The people who like your stuff are lucky that you shared it with them. This generation, studies have proven, cares more about being famous than being kind. That is really sad. Actually, I had someone message me yesterday, someone who was torn between working on a project that all of their fans liked, or working on a less popular project that they were passionate about. I told them straight up to never let people convince you to do what they want. I myself made that mistake with, guess what? Muffins. And now I have trouble working on it because I'm exhausted. Playing with Fire is a bit of a different story. I was coming out with like a page a day. I burnt myself out. Don't get me wrong, I love it, and I will finish it before I die. But an artist's most popular series should not be the artist's focus if they are not passionate about working on it at that time, or it will have poor quality, which is the reason why I'm on a narration hiatus, and the reason why I cannot complete the next story in Muffins. It's started, but it's not complete. Is I need that passion to return to me. A lot of my passion in projects has been depleted just due to environmental unhappiness, and that will change when life gets better. So, yeah. Stop caring about fame. I'm not famous. Hell, I'm not even really considered well-known. I'm recognizable. Some people see my work and say, oh, I know who did that. Some people recognize my name or face. That's it. Some people. Yeah, being famous sure would be nice, but only because the money would help Michael and I live in this godforsaken country. Many famous people have miserable lives because they let the fame go to their heads. They do something stupid because they think they can do anything, and then they ruin their reputation. I mean, you guys don't want to be like that idiot kid Logan Paul, do you? Because if you do, I feel really sorry for you. However, if you want to be like Markiplier, great. And, streamers like Markiplier, not just Markiplier in general. I'm not trying to single him out. I just don't know many others like him. He works very hard doing what he loves and making the best effort to bring you quality content. But he doesn't do it because he wants fame. He does it because he loves doing it. He most likely started out like everyone else. He just started doing video game walkthroughs before they were called Let's Plays, and people really liked him. When an artist finds out people like what they're doing, they'll strive to make it better quality, but also to make themselves proud of their accomplishments. And no, that's not narcissism. That's called self-esteem. People like Markiplier genuinely care about their fans. But if he didn't enjoy doing something, he wouldn't force himself to do it. He just doesn't seem like that kind of person. I care about my fans and Reitannites. I do. But there's something that makes them fans in the first place, and that's their unwavering support. It's not building an army so my fans will protect me. It's not all eyes on me no matter what. It's dedication. It's a good show of character. It's realizing that I'm no saint, I'm no god, and I'm far from perfect. It's seeing me as another human being just like them, and they enjoy their work and personality. It's seeing me as another human just like them, and they enjoy their work and personality. For some reason, I can't make sense of that sentence. And I can be fans of my fans' stuff as well. Dude, when King Spook began commenting on my videos, I was like, I'm a huge fan of his narrations, and he's become a fan of some of my stuff. We've even spoken through email, and that's just super cool. He shared with me some problems of his, he's shown me his humanity, and he is flawed like all of us. That doesn't change the fact that he works hard with what he does, and he likes doing it. Those of you who see me as another person, I have the highest respect for you, and you are indeed the reason I've become recognizable. If it weren't for you, there's a lot of good things I would have missed out on. But who I don't care for are the people who take me for granted, who ask me, how do you become so popular? Who constantly nag at me for stuff even if I've taken a hiatus. The people who say, come on, it's been so long since the last muffins, just fucking post one already, or at least make them into animations. That was a real comment I got on YouTube, sent to my held for review section because I blacklisted the word muffins. That means the comments won't be seen unless I approve them, and it's how I filter out these kinds of shit comments. I don't care about the people who bitch at me, the people who threaten me, the people who say, if you don't post more, I'm gonna unsub. Do it then! Unsub! It literally does nothing to the amount of success I've gained so far, and I don't want people like you on my channel anyway. I've had haters tell me, you're so mean to your fans. No, I am not, because those aren't fans. They are blind worshippers of the final product I create. They are people who claim that I'm the best person ever in the whole wide world because of that product, and they are the people who think I can just pop another story out of my ass just for them. Well, if I were to shit out a story, you'd get nothing but shit, right? But YouTube's community seems to be way more toxic than DA's, and that's saying something. Most of those quote-unquote fakies, which I call them so that I sum them up in a single word, are on YouTube and not here. That means that most of you reading this are true people, people who also work hard because you're artists as well. You show good character, not just to me, but to many people. You have your own fans, and you understand that life isn't always a walk in the park. You guys are so great. I love seeing how much effort you put into fan art of my stuff, and it makes me go to your gallery and see all of the wonderful work you've done. I may not favorite it, but I only favorite stuff I plan to go back to. Though in the past, I favorited pretty much anything I liked. I will favorite cute animals from time to time. The point is, I don't see you as my minions or whatever. I don't see you as the platform that holds me up. Excuse me. I see you for what you are, people. Because history repeats itself. If I met one of you guys in person, I'd likely be more quote-unquote starstruck than you. Most of all, we come together through common interests. We can relate to each other in some way, and friendships are formed. I know that my level of devotion toward you guys has been very low lately, but life has been holding me down for quite a bit. I know within this year things will get better, and I'll be back to my old self again, though with more life experience, so as immature as I am, I will at least be more mature than I was. That's just going to happen regardless. And I said, I didn't plan on writing such a long thing, so if you read all of this, I commend you, but I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. Damn it, if I hated all of you, I'd just say it, right? Better to be hated for the truth than to be loved for a lie. But it's pretty clear to everyone, except the haters, who I hate and who I don't. Anyway, that's really all I have to say right now, so have a good rest of your day/night. So, yeah, if you see people going on, you're so mean to your fans, or if you're new to my channel and you see me chewing out somebody who is not one of my fans, and then you just assume that I'm rude to everybody, that's your fault. I have a video that says I'm not needlessly mean. So if I respond to a comment that can be taken meanly or rudely in some way, shape, or form, it doesn't always mean I meant it that way. I am socially inept. I do not know how to speak to people, and oftentimes I say things that I don't think sound wrong at all, but sound wrong to other people, and it's caused a lot of problems for me. I don't know how to speak to people. That's usually why I make up words, by smashing them together, and I will make fun of myself. I'll say, yes, that's a word now. But some of the things I say sound completely innocent to me. But they end up not being, and the person reacts negatively, and I go, hands up, what the fuck did I just do? You know, tell me what I did wrong so that I know not to do it again. But they never do. Instead, they bitch at me. Sometimes, there will be a moment of clarification and things can get settled. There was one person about a year and a half ago or so who chewed me out because of, you know, what they saw on the outside by like a couple of my videos and just assumed I was a certain way. And instead of chewing them out back like I really wanted to, I decided to take the friendly approach. And I decided to calmly explain to them where they were wrong and why. And it was amazing. This hasn't happened since. And if it has, I either don't remember it or it's been so small that it's not memorable. They completely changed their attitude and they said sorry. And that was on YouTube. I do have a certain other person I will not name who did see the wrongness of their ways, that English, and who did end up apologizing and is a not a close friend, but I consider like more toward friend in the kind of acquaintance area. I don't know how to say it, but you know what I'm talking about. And so and that sometimes can make others better people. Sometimes it doesn't. For the people who you try to explain reasonably to about why they're wrong and why they're just listening to other people or just looking on the surface of myself, who are assuming things, and if I try to explain to you that you're wrong in the kindest way I know how, and you respond with more hate as if I didn't even say anything, or if I just flipped you off and called your mother a whore, then you're not changing. You're not the type of character that I want to be associated with, and I'm going to speak rudely to you. It usually depends on what the commenter says first, on whether or not I'm going to try and correct them, or whether or not I'm just going to treat them the same as they want to be treated. And it's unfortunate that newcomers will see these comments and assume that they're innocent people who I'm attacking, basically. But, like I've said in my Hall of Shames, it's, you know, if you throw something at me, I have every right to throw something back. You know? They acted first. I did not. I'm not gonna go up to some random person in a video who, like if it's a video, about, how a ink pen is made, and, or how to make your own homemade DIY pen or something. I don't know. I have a pen on my desk, you know, and if I were to, and I've seen comments like this. Let's say they showed their face on the video. If I were to just randomly go, I've never spoken to this person, and go, oh my god, you're so fucking ugly. Well, who's in the wrong? The person whose appearance they cannot help, whether or not my opinion is wrong of them, whether or not they are actually a good-looking person? Are they in the wrong? Absolutely not. I am, because I threw the first stone. However, if, let's say, hang on, I need to come up with another example. I just had it and I lost it. Ah, it came back like a loyal dog that runs away and then returns home. Let's say somebody leaves a comment on one of my videos and says, I like your hair, smiley face. And I say, it's a wig, you retard. Who's in the wrong? Am I in the wrong for posting the video? No. Is the commenter in the wrong for saying they liked my hair, possibly thinking that it is indeed my real hair, which has happened, or just because technically wigs are hair? Are they in the wrong for saying that? No. Am I in the wrong for saying it's a wig, you retard? Absolutely. And there was no reason for me to say it at all. That's unreasonable and illogical. There's just no reason to do that. And I try to live life as reasonably as I can, as logically as I can, because I'm sick and tired of how I am without my medication. So when I'm in control of that kind of stuff, I can easily make decisions, and I'm on this great anti-anxiety medication, and my doctor just changed me to time release instead of taking a pill a couple of times a day, and God, it feels so nice not to be on the verge of panic attacks when certain triggers pop up. It feels so great. And my shaking, let's see. Well, I still shake, but that might be low blood sugar, but my shaking isn't as bad, and it just makes me feel really good. I mean, it doesn't make me feel like, yeah, man, like, chill, oh my god. It doesn't change me. It just takes all of that adrenaline and calms it down so that I'm acting at a quote-unquote normal level, like people who are mentally healthy. It feels great. But unfortunately, if I'm not on my medication, the anxiety and the bipolar and sometimes the PTSD will mess with the chemicals in my brain, because that's what mental illness does, and it will cause me to be erratic, to be irrational, to act spontaneously, to do or say things that I right now would not say, that I would look back on and either not remember that I said it or apologize because I wouldn't say that. And it's crazy to look at old journals of mine when I was in like middle school or high school when I wasn't medicated, and the things that I said, and I was like, wow, Jesus Christ. But, you know, it wasn't really my fault that I wasn't being treated properly. But I've had enough of that during my life, and when I'm able to think clearly, I can understand that things have to happen for a reason. So, if you're some shithead who kicks a puppy, what was the reason for kicking that puppy? If you hate dogs, that's not the reason. You can hate dogs to yourself. You just wanted to see something hurt. You just wanted to express your dominance as a human being. That's not okay. And that's unreasonable. It's illogical. It's completely unreasonable. And things that happen without reason cause chaos. And, well, some people like chaos, but chaos often disrupts people's lives whether they like it or not. So, like, for the haters that come to my channel, and a long time ago, I posted a video, I don't remember what it was called, but I actually looked pretty in the video. In my opinion, I looked pretty, because I took the time and effort to do my makeup and stuff, and, you know, even though I view myself as ugly, it's more of my natural self. I don't like the way I look naturally, but I can, with the art of makeup, I can change my facial features and actually make myself look relatively pretty. And in some videos, I actually look like I'm half Japanese, but I'm only Japanese by marriage, so I don't have Japanese blood in me. So you could fool around with makeup and stuff, and because of how much I hate my natural self, I make myself look, in my opinion, pretty. Now, if somebody comes along and says, you're ugly as shit, true story, what is their reason? Maybe in their opinion, they do not like the way I did my makeup, and to them, it's ugly. But what was the reason for posting the comment? There was no reason. The person was hostile for no reason. It's like, why did you post that comment if you know it was going to be hurtful to somebody? And if their reason is, I just wanted to make you angry, that's unreasonable. So sometimes their reason is too unreasonable to be a reason. Head splody. You just gotta, and like it said in my journal, people care more about fame than kindness. And it really shows on the internet, and it really shows on YouTube, and it's really, really sad. If more people just understood how to not be dicks all the time, then society would actually get better when it comes to communicating with each other. Because no matter how introverted you are, we are a social species, and we do require human contact. And a lot of people maybe don't realize or don't care that when they're on their computer and they're speaking to someone online, there's another person on the other side. You're speaking to a real human being. Unless you're some tinfoil hat guy that says, no, everybody's bots! So, it's like, if you can't comment anything nice, don't comment anything at all. Don't comment with anything that you personally would take as an insult. If you don't comment with something insulting, guess what? I won't attack you back. Do you see where this is going? Even if you say something neutral, like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something neutral. Like if you said, like, a sound, like whop or something, I might leave an XD as a reply, but if I reply to a neutral comment or a civil comment, then it's not going to be aggressive. Okay? If you are nice, you get nice people. If you are mean, you get mean people. You get how's the saying? You get what you've always gotten. Or something. I don't remember. It used to be one of my favorite quotes. You attract more bees with honey than vinegar. I wish that people would refrain from commenting if they don't have anything nice to say. I think the last time I had something unkind to say was when I was watching a video about Venus Angelic or something, and how just basically the truths behind her, and I was like, okay, who is this girl? She's pretty. So I checked out one of her videos, and I watched the whole thing, and by the end of it, I wanted to go off at this stupid girl. But I said, because I felt like I needed to leave something. And it's not because, notice me, it's because if she checks her comments, these things can resonate in the brain in the proper way that they are supposed to, whether or not you're aware of it. And I said, I came here out of curiosity, and I've seen enough. I'm leaving. That's all I said. I could have not said anything at all, but I was not wrong for leaving that comment. I would be wrong if I left a comment saying everything I wanted to say at that moment. But if more people did that, if more people just said, never mind, and went on with their life, we would just all be so much stronger emotionally and mentally. It's really, really sad how much we hurt each other. And again, I'm no saint. I can't say I've never hurt people. Honestly, I can not absolutely say that I haven't hurt people just to see them hurt. Because that would be a lie. And for those of you who are new and have listened this far, I've taken a code of honor where I am always honest, where I do not lie. It's not that I can't lie, it's that I choose not to. It also doesn't mean that I've never lied. Because I have. Everybody has. And whoever says they've never lied is a liar. So, but currently, and for the last, 7 years, the code of honor has gotten stronger, but I do not lie by choice. So, have I been a bully? I have, but you guys didn't know me then. I was a bully for the same reason bullies are bullies. Because their life, because my life was miserable. I felt unsafe at school, at home, anywhere. I wasn't being treated properly, and I was getting bullied on top of all of it. So, therefore, I became one. And I'm not proud of it. But it didn't last too long, because I almost drowned one of my friends, and that kind of kicked me out of it, going, whoa, what did I just do? Unfortunately, I am a sociopath, so I do have certain urges that, thankfully, I am able to use common sense to suppress those urges, which is actually kind of harmful, in a way. And I've done things that sociopaths are known to do. Some of them I don't regret. And that's the me saying, the entire human race is evil, but that doesn't disclude me. I'm a human, right? I bleed red. I have all the organs that a human is supposed to have. I'm human. So, even if I do my best to suppress natural instincts to destroy and to hate and to enjoy it, I still have that evil in me. And there are times where I've just wanted to say fuck it and ruin my life and act on those urges. But I have enough stability in my mentality, thanks to medication, to say that's not a good idea, to look into the future and say these are all the things I would miss out on if I ruined my life. Sociopaths are impulsive and make rash decisions. And so, just because I'm on my medication, it does not change the thoughts being rather rash and spontaneous and reckless. But I am calm enough to take those thoughts and say, you either need to go into a story, or you just need to go back into my subconscious where you belong. It makes me sick to remember certain times when I was a very young child where I have hurt animals. The stories aren't as bad as some you hear about criminals, in their childhood torturing little animals, but there have been a few cases of me, and I don't look at them fondly. I wish I could go back in time and take myself and smack her in the face, but, that would help with the child abuse situation, wouldn't it? A second woman that looks exactly like Aaron is doing the exact same thing. Yeah, that adds to the trauma. But, we need to learn how to control these things. And I'm fortunate enough to have treatment for my mental disabilities. Not everybody's as fortunate. people have worse disabilities. People have scary disabilities that compared to mine, like, I feel like mine compared to those is tiny. It's a toy, basically. It's like, oh, my phone broke. Wah. That's how, in comparison, it is to some of the really scary things out there that people actually have, that people actually have to battle day to day without treatment. And unfortunately, this is the confusing part. By definition, a sociopath can feel empathy, but for a few individuals. Is a psychopath cannot feel empathy at all. I tend, because bipolar disorder is basically emotions and empathy all together, I have a lot of confusing thoughts about who I choose to have empathy for, and who I choose to feel sorry for, which is basically the same thing. And it's usually the people who have to suffer in either the same ways I have, in the same ways I am, or in ways that are just worse, plain wrong. Things that have never happened to me, things that I hope never do happen to me, things that are just not fair. But, you know, even then, there are some things where I don't care about. I just go, oh, that sucks. But I find it's easier to feel empathy when I am in my stable mind. I notice that. Which is good. It's very good. So it's like, this is how it's like to be a sort of normal person. It feels nice. It feels nice to not want to harm myself or kill myself or harm other people. But it doesn't change the fact, that's just a roundabout way of saying I hate sauerkraut, that doesn't change the fact that I am not rude or mean or mistreat my fans. So, yeah, I just give them what they want. You know, obviously they want attention, and that's not something narcissistic on my end. That's them doing something that will get them attention. Because that's the only logical reason I could come up with, is that they do that so they can get my attention, whether it's negative or positive. Just to let you know, if you're thirsty for attention from a YouTuber, you can easily get that attention by saying something positive. It feels really good. Kindness is actually really easy. I don't know. People baffle me. I baffle me. My thoughts baffle me. My reasoning behind things baffle me. But I try to stay true to myself as best that I can, and, you know, if you hear somebody talk smack about me, just come to me and ask me about it. Okay? I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm going to tell you the truth of why that person's talking smack about me. And the likelihood that they were a jerk and I chewed them out and blocked them is very high. So, sour grapes. I love how this turned into, it turned from vegan extremists to being nice on the internet and stuff. But that's why they're called long-ass rants, because they don't stick to one topic. And you guys who actually listen to this stuff, you're used to it. But this is where I need to end, because for the last 45 minutes to an hour, I have not been working on the Sim stuff because I could not concentrate on my rant. So, if you listen this far and you enjoy anything I do, anything, or enjoy what I've done in the past that is most likely going to come back in the future, you know, consider subscribing. And leave a like and click the little bell, and I shall see you later, alligators and crocodiles. Goodbye.